Do you need to file a BOI report before the new year? Millions of U.S. small businesses haven't completed their anti-money laundering disclosures as the deadline draws near. If you've never heard of a BOI report or aren't sure if you need to file one, keep watching. You're going to want to find out. What is BOI? BOI is short for Beneficial Ownership Information. And that's what the U.S. government wants 32 million small businesses to tell it about by filing a form with the Treasury Department's Anti-Money Laundering Unit, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Who's a beneficial owner? A beneficial owner in this context is someone who has a 25% ownership stake in a business, either directly or indirectly. Someone who owns a company that has a 25% ownership in another company is a beneficial owner of the other company. Anyone who exercises significant control of a business, either directly or indirectly, is a beneficial owner too. This latter category includes the business's senior officers and anyone who can hire or fire senior officers or appoint or remove a majority of the board. Asking companies to list all their beneficial owners may seem a little extra, but businesses often have to provide this kind of information to banks and other institutions to gain access to credit and for other reasons. The disclosure requirements are intended to prevent people from laundering money or hiding behind shell corporations. The Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, or FinCEN, where this new disclosure form has to be filed, has been around since 1990. It's a centralized repository for information used to combat financial crimes, including money laundering, racketeering, and supporting terrorism. Various government agencies tasked with enforcing different laws use FinCEN to exchange data and coordinate activities. The Anti-Money Laundering Act of 2020 expanded on previous laws and fortified the government's ability to fight financial crimes. A year later, Congress added the Corporate Transparency Act. This act specifically targeted a blind spot in the federal government's oversight: small businesses. The federal government and its various agencies have authority over many businesses, including brokerages, insurers, and publicly traded companies. This authority enables federal regulators to require those companies to disclose information such as the beneficial owners and any individuals who may indirectly control those companies. But the federal government doesn't have access to information about smaller businesses in non-regulated industries that register with state governments. This includes S and C corporations, limited partnerships, limited liability companies like mine, and other types of business entities. Typically, small business owners register their business by filing articles of incorporation or other formation documents with the State Corporations Department, Department of State Business Filing Service or Business Bureau, or some other agency with a similar sounding name. State governments don't have to share this filing information with the federal government. So if the U.S. government wants to know who owns or controls one of these small companies, they have to ask the owners. But they don't have to ask nicely. Following the passage of the Corporate Transparency Act, Congress gave FinCEN nearly 3 years to get the registry up and running. On January 1, 2024, it launched. But in that first year, only companies registering during the year had to file a report. Businesses formed before January 1, 2024 were given until January 1, 2025 to file their BOI forms. This meant the majority of small businesses affected by the law didn't have to take action right away, and most didn't. At a November 8th town hall, a spokesperson for FinCEN said that about 6.5 million small businesses had filed their reports with the registry. The government estimates that close to another 26 million small businesses need to turn in their information prior to the January 1st, 2025 deadline, which is now less than 30 days away. Or maybe it isn't. I'll talk about that in just a little bit. The BOI reporting law includes a list of 23 types of businesses that are exempt from filing, including small businesses that are no longer operational. So your company may not be required to file a BOI report. You'll find a link to the official government information page in the description for this video, so you can check it out for yourself. But what's important to know for now is, if the law applies to your business and you haven't filed a report yet, which apparently millions of business owners have not, time's almost up. And if you don't file your report by January 1st, you could end up paying fines or even being sent to jail. The maximum fine for failing to file is $591 a day, which is an odd number. That's because the original amount of $500 a day gets adjusted annually for inflation. The maximum total fine is $10,000, and that one doesn't get adjusted. So here's what you need to do. Go to FinCEN.gov BOI to find out if you need to file and how to do it. There's even a video explainer on the website, and you can file your report right there. But to complete the process, you'll need to know the address and other key information about each beneficial owner. You'll also need a unique identification number, like the number from a driver's license or passport for each person, and you'll have to upload a picture of that ID. So make sure you collect all that stuff first. Now you may be wondering, with less than 30 days to get it done, why so many business owners haven't filed their reports. Or maybe you're wondering if the federal government can make small business owners file these reports at all. Compliance may be low because no one outside of those working in a few relevant industries like accountants and lawyers have heard of this law. Well, that's not entirely true. A lot of people have heard about it, and they aren't very happy. Quite a few have filed lawsuits challenging its constitutionality. Some businesses may be putting off filing while they wait to see what the courts say. I doubt we'll get an answer before the January 1st deadline, though. With more than a dozen cases filed, 2 conflicting rulings, and a temporary injunction, it's likely the Supreme Court will have the final say on this one. But wait, isn't there an injunction barring the federal government from enforcing the BOI reporting requirements? Well, yeah, there is, but it's just a temporary injunction. It's only in place until both sides can present their arguments to the federal judge who issued it. After that, the injunction could be lifted. Eventually, all the district court cases will have to be dismissed, settled, or appealed. And if the appellate courts can't agree, then everything goes to the Supreme Court for a final determination. So we may be in this for a while. In the meantime, place your bets. File or don't. But if you are planning to file, get it done before the clock runs out.